Hey, what's up gamers, this is Skelemusly. I recently had a fan ask me about what kind of pet mixing you needed to do or how you could raise the stats or attributes, the base ones, on your pet. Now usually I get asked about talents, but this time this person asked about something different. And I kind of had in mind to make this video for a while anyway, so it's pretty much like a fate setup thing. Now the first thing I want to do is show you my pet, and there's a reason for that. Now I have a 320 strength, 250, 260, 260, and 250. This would ordinarily on a natural pet read 255, but I've got the Mighty Gym, which gives me a little bit more of an increase on that. Now this pet is what's known as a max stat pet. It is the highest attributes that you can currently get on any pet, no matter what the skin is. There's a couple of different sources for a pet like that, and we're going to cover those in just a minute. But I want to get down to the meat and bones of it right away, and then we'll cover the fine details. How you raise the stats through pet mixing is, let's put a comparison pet up here. Now this is Madame Bosco, and this pet is a first generation Chieftain's Owl. First generation meaning it's a pet that was dropped to me in this case. First generations are drops, are pack pets, or anything like that that you get through any other means than mixing. Alright, now as you see, this one doesn't have too bad of attributes at all to start out with. 210, 210, 250, 240, and 248. Those, by any stretch, are not bad. I've seen far, far poorer stats on a first-gen pet. How we raise these stats or attributes is just like with talents, through mixing. But what you'll want to do is find yourself one of these max stat pets, if that's how high you want to go. If you want to go for max stats, I mean, that's great. Some people only want to raise things up a little bit. Some people want to, you know, and a lot of PvEers and PvPers both actually want to go for the absolute best they can get in everything, because sometimes that point or 2 points or 5 points makes a difference. Now there are 3 different ways you can get a max stat pet like that I can think of. One of them is if you happen to have a friend who already has one and who is very happy and generous and kind-hearted and whatever else, that's really good, to help you through the mixing process. That would be really good. Another way that I know of is this, and let me pop over there to him. Another way, if you have the resources, which in this case would be arena tickets to do it, is to get yourself a basic max stats pet from Diego. Let's see here. They have them for pretty much, not pretty much, they have them for every school. And they come with the max stats you can get on a natural pet. 255, 250, 260, 260, and 250. If you happen to have arena tickets and you want to get this pet, you know, say you want to mix in your own time, you can't find time to find someone else to mix with, you know, you have late hours. In any case, if you want to mix on your own, just doing your own pet, that's where you would get a max stat pet from. It's from Diego. Let me go, Diego. I'm going to get back over there. Alright, I'm going to go back over to the pet pavilion. We're going to continue this. Alright, now the third and best way that I can tell you to get yourself a max stat pet to mix with, to get your own pet up there, is through various pet hatching groups. Now there's several of them out there. I have to give you guys, by the way, a shameless plug. One of the best groups that I know of for getting pet hatches like this is the School of the Gifted Pets, which is a Facebook group. Those folks over there are really nice. They do their, especially in my case, they have bent over backwards to help me with hatches when I needed them. And I really recommend them as a group if you're looking to get a max stat pet, or even pets of a particular talent or type or what have you. They pretty much got it all covered in a big fat binder of pets over there. So if you need something like that and you don't have resources on your own really, go and see them. They'll probably be more than happy to help you out. Alright, now as to the actual hatching part of this, I'm going to go ahead and hatch a pet, and then I'm going to explain to you what's going on. Alright, let's get in here. Now you saw Lady Bosco, or I'm sorry, Madame Bosco, and you saw Lady Shadow. We're going to hatch those. And it'll be 5 minutes, but through the power of video editing, I'm going to speed this up for you guys, okay? So give me 1 second, and I will speed this up, and I will be right back. Okay. Madame Patch has hatched for us. So I'm going to go ahead and equip that pet now. And you're going to see how this hatching process works and how you raise stats. What happens is whenever you hatch a pet, it will get in between the lowest and the highest stats of the parent pets that you hatch. And what I mean by that is this. Okay. Madame Bosco has 210 intellect. Lady Shadow has 250 intellect. Now, your pet will never get lower than 210 or higher than 250. It will get somewhere in between. A lot of times, if you're unlucky, what it'll do is stick with the lowest talent. Let's see what it ended up getting. Madame Patch ended up getting 250 intellect. So she got the full intellect of Lady Shadow, which is the best stat you can get. She actually did really, this pet actually did really good on the hatch. Okay, let's use power because I know that's in between. For power, this pet got 245, which is directly in between Madame Bosco and Lady Shadow, right in the middle. Now, whenever you hatch pets for stats like this, a lot of times it can get just the minimum stat. You know, it can stick with, I don't even know if I can, I did so well on that pet, it's kind of messing me up for further speech. At 250, 250. Okay, agility. It got the minimum agility, which was 250, instead of any more points at all in it. Doing stat hatches like this, and this is what is one of the things that takes a little bit of time and trouble, is it can stick a talent on the lowest stat forever, or it can get 1 point in that stat, or maybe you'll get lucky and it'll get all of them. I've had pet hatches where it took me 10 because it would, on one hatch, it would get 1 point on one talent, and the next hatch it would get 1 point on another talent. And sometimes it just does not want to go up at all. There's still some luck factor in there as to what it gets for max stats. Let me see here. Another thing you should know about this, and this is kind of a sticking point, and it is really one of the reasons I recommend one of the pet hatching groups. You really want to have a good lock on your pet's talents, at least I did, before you try to start hatching for stats. And that means making sure you've hatched your pet for a couple of generations and the particular talents that you want stick. You know, you want spell proof and spell defy. Make sure you're a couple of generations down and that pet is really sticking those talents. Any talents you want to keep, you're going to make sure you have to stick as much as possible, because not only do you have to raise the stats, but you have to keep the talents that you want while you're raising the stats. And that can get mighty expensive if you're doing it the hard way and say you're using an armament pet from Diego. And that happens for a couple of reasons. Because with the armament pets, for instance, they have max stats, sure. But it's been my experience that they have things like, let's take the Storm pet, for instance. They have things like Storm Spear. And the armament pet will train to adult and they'll get Storm Spear, and you will have the devil of a time getting a talent like that out of your pool. A lot of times it'll want to stick there, and if you don't want Storm Spear, you're going to work forever, 10 hatches, 20 hatches, just to try to get that Storm Spear out of there. Because not only will it be in the pool, it'll want to manifest. A lot of those armament pets, the talents that they have, not only are they in the pool, and not only do they manifest, but they pass on just like glue. And they're really hard to get out of. As a for instance, for an example, to get Lady Shadow, let me click her back on again. Because, well, I like her. To get Lady Shadow to where she is with the talents that I wanted and a max stats, it took me more than 20 million gold and hundreds of hatches to do this. And I had a person who had a max stat pet to hatch with. He didn't have all the talents that I wanted, and I started with all the talents that I wanted, but with this random number generator being what it is, you're going to work at this. You may get like Powerball lucky, lotto winner lucky, and actually do it in a dozen or two hatches. It may happen. It's not impossible. But be prepared to hatch over and over and over again. I mean over again. To get a max stat pet with talents that you want. It's just what's going to happen. In any case, let me go back to this again. A lot of times what you're going to get, there we go. A lot of times what you're going to get is somewhere in between, and you'll have to be used to that. And not only will you get a stat or an attribute, an attribute that's in between, but you might not end up manifesting the talents that you want. So you're going to play a balancing act the whole way up. Now, some of the things that's going to help you with this is the handy-dandy mousing here. You mouse over the stat that you want, and it'll tell you what things it affects. So if you're looking for damage or resist or healing or armor piercing or what have you, you can look at each one of these and it'll tell you what it affects. And that's a really helpful little guide bit of this. Let's see, I'll go over each of them just so you can see them. Okay, there we go. There's that one. And there's will. And there's power. All right. It says if power affects most statistics, but it doesn't say exactly. It just says most of them. In any case, you'll use those stat bars as your guide. Say you want to resist pet, train for the talents that you want for resist. You don't have to have a max stat pet. It just helps to have max stats in the particular talents or areas that you want to have. That being said, most of you will probably go for a full max stat pet anyway. That's just how it works out. And I know that it is. But guys, I hope this has helped you out as far as understanding what it is you have to do to raise the stats on a pet. Now there's one more quick thing I want to say about this, and that is that it does not matter what snacks you use to train the pet. Those will not raise your stats, and they will not affect your talents. Those snacks are just to level the pet with, to raise your numbers, to fill your number bars up. That's all they're for. The game that you play will not affect your stats or talents. It's just whichever one you might happen to like to play. Maybe you're better at one than another. All those do is fill up the number bars. That's it. Okay, guys, I do believe I have covered everything here as far as what you might need to know for stat raising your pet mixes. And if I haven't, if for some reason I've mixed something, by all means, get a hold of me in the comments and I will address your question as quick as I can. I do believe that I've got it all done now. So guys, if you like this video, please smash the like button. Help me out. It would be really great because I had a great time making this video. Until next time, this is Skellimystic reminding you that whatever else you do, always love the game. Peace. Hey, what's up gamers? This is Skellimystic. Welcome back to Pet Training Baby Tamiga, the Polaris Test Realm Pets. This time I have the Beastmaster's Eagle. Now, I know it looks like the Raven pet just with a different skin. But let me tell you, these pets that are coming out of Polaris, at least in Test Realm,